which is SMPS, is Go Goa Gone. It's gone for a toss. I cannot say no loss, but I have to pay if I want to buy a new one. It might cost around 300 rupees. I opened it today to show you how the strong build quality the earlier cabinets used to be. It is a thick gauge, and if you see the quality and paint is still intact. This is a 2 ampere approximately transformer from Polytron. I have installed 2 diodes and one 4700 microfarad capacitor. 16 volts actually. You should not use it for the HF radios or any kind of radios, but if you have a linear power supply that gives you most pure power, linear power output, and you can regulate it, make it more sensitive for your radio equipments, but not, I don't recommend such kind of power supply for radio equipments, but this for set-top box and any kind of lighting, this is okay. Hi folks, welcome to Automotive Technica. Today I'm going to show you a linear power supply which I have done it almost 25 years approximately, and it was done and manifested in 1999-2000. So it's more than whatever I said the age is, and I opened it today to show you how the strong build quality the earlier cabinets used to be. It is a thick gauge, and if you see the quality and paint is still intact, and it was purchased from Hubli. All the components were purchased from Hubli. This is a 2 ampere approximately transformer from Polytron, and there is a rectifier board, a full wave rectifier board with I have installed 2 diodes and one 4700 microfarad capacitor, which is, you can see it in blue, and there is one more from the output of this is 12012. So when you do the filtering, it gives more than 16 volts approximately, because this is not rectified output. I mean what I'm to say is this is not stabilized output. So for that I have put input power supply switch, which is directly a 230 volt operation is coming from here, and a cord is also still intact, and the quality is so nice. And what I have done is I have given this through the switch, this power supply switch, and when I switch it on, the transformer gets on and it gives 12012 AC of 50 hertz, and that is RMS. And what I get is the average value from the capacitor, approximately more than 16 up to 18 volts if the input voltage varies. And now for that, if you want a precise 12 volts, I have used 7812 IC, which is, you can see it there, the black color on the heat sink. So the output of the rectifier goes to the 12 volt regulator, and that gives me 12 volts. But for that, when I require more ampere, what I do is, when you load this with any kind of a stuff or a device, I switch it off. That means the rectifier is off, no 12 volts outside. So the output from the rectifier or from the switch, which is when it is open, it is 16 volts. It is coming through a fuse. The fuse is approximately 5 amperes. So if it gets shorted, it blows off. So to reduce the wire, the output is just 3.5 mm jack, which is the internal is 12 plus and the outside is minus. And I'll switch it on and show it to you. So I push to on. Now this is the direct feed out from the rectifier, which varies. I mean, it's not a variable, but varies according to the mains power supply. If it is more, then you'll get more. It's like 16 to 18 volts when it is open voltage, but when you load it, it comes down, drops down to 12 to 14. So that is why when I want more amperes, I use in this mode. So when I switch it on, it is gone through the rectifier 7812. Now what I get, the output voltage across this is 12 volts. I'll show it to you using the multimeter. So that's the build quality and the build of the linear power supply, which is done by me. And yeah, I soldered it on the PCB. Used to get ready-made PCBs with a high lean so that it can handle more current. And since I put 3.5 mm for the output, I had to put the fuse so that if there is any kind of short circuit, this fuse blows off. Yeah, that's the build. And yeah, for the input power supply, people don't put any kind of a safety situation because this grazes to the metal and it gets cut. So that is 230 volts. So this is a rubber padding which I have put it from the inside, and this is what the precautions you have to take when you keep it for the long term. So this is what it is, and when I put it the cover, I'll show you after completion. And I opened it after several years, so I just wanted to clean it up and use it for one of the idle digital TV. Let's see how it goes. So folks, if you see this power supply, this is 12 volts and 2 amperes DC output, and it is taking the Indian input voltage. If I say show you, it's 50 to 60 hertz, and not only Indian voltage, it is 92 to 70 volts variable. That means it's a switch mode power supply. So this is for Airtel setup box, mini box, and I have cut this wire to use it onto my linear power supply. So this, when I tested it, it was not giving the right ampere, and it was showing 12 volt, but when I tried to extract more current, it was showing me a 0.4 400 milliamps, so 0.4 amperes. So this is gone almost because the switching is not working properly, and it is showing TV code error 002. So there are multiple videos stating that if you get that a TV code 002, you need to change the power supply. So going and buying a new power supply and putting it, and if it doesn't work, then if the setup my box might have gone, then it is a waste of money. So I will test it with this power supply. So I have cut it from here, and using this power supply input and using this wire, and there is one more which is I have done it for this linear power supply, the two wires coming out, and I have to insert it in the 3 volt jack pin. So this is what I do it, and let's measure up the voltage. I'll connect this to the multimeter. This is set at 20 volts DC, and this LCD, I think it's visible. Yeah, so the problem is this is also the age of the same linear power supply. Approximately post 1998 2000 I had purchased this, and I changed the battery. It's still working, but LCD, it is the reflective material is being peeled off. That's why it's like that, but it's working. And let's measure the voltage. So the pin output voltage is connected, and the positive goes to the positive terminal of the multimeter, negative to the negative, and I have set the multimeter. So this is the voltage it's showing. Let's cover it up. This is minus, this is 6 volts, 16 volts here. So 16 volts, 0.30. Yeah, this is, and when I put it down, it happens to be 11.94. It's almost 12 volts. Yeah, so that's the thing. So 11.92 is 12 volts, and when I put it up directly bypassing the rectifier, it is 16 volts. I'll redo it because I think this is the minus reverse terminal, which I have not seen inside the soldering. Let me check once again. So now it is 0. I'm switching off. Switched on. It is, yeah, it's 16 volts. Point, yeah, 16 varies because of the input power supply is varying. The one is not prominent, but it is actually showing 14 to 15 volts. Now when I switch it on, it is 12 volts. 11.85 is 12 volts. So that is 7802 IC is working. And if you bypass it using this, which I switch it off, I get more ampere, and it's direct coming. So this is a loose connector. Yeah, 16 volts actually. This is how this linear power supply works. I designed it for switching it up to 12 volts pure DC, and regulated and non-regulated is I get 16 volts open voltage unloaded. If you load it, it will drop down to certain few 2 volts, and it will become either 12 volts or 14 volts. This is the linear power supply. Yeah, that's few coins of it, and connect it to the setup box and see how it will work. So folks, my power supply is ready for Airtel setup box, because this Airtel setup box's adapter, which is SMPS, is Goa gone. It's gone for a toss. I cannot say no loss, but I have to pay if I want to buy a new one. It might cost around 300 rupees. But these cheap power supplies, which are SMPS, made it in masses, which almost go, and these are not giving power for filtered good power for the radios. You should not use it for the HF radios or any kind of radios. But if you have a linear power supply that gives you most pure power, linear power output, and you can regulate it, make it more sensitive for your radio equipments. But not, I don't recommend such kind of power supply for radio equipments, but this for setup box and any kind of lightning, this is okay. So folks, if you see, there are two types of power supply in the market. Mostly you get it SMPS, which are very pretty bad for your radios if you are going to use it for only radios, and the other one is the linear power supply. It is rare now, you have to make it, otherwise you have to hunt it for it. Some Mumbai manufacturers do it, and some, I don't think so, most of them are, it's on demand, and you have to do it with special request, or you have to do it at home getting the transformers. So I believe this building a power supply, linear power supply, is a good project, and it will make your equipments happy. And I don't recommend the non-linear power supply, which is SMPS, for any other purposes. If you are having a router, it's fine. If you are having a setup box, it's fine. But this particular adapter is bad now, and it is not giving the proper current for my setup box, which is Airtel, and the TV error code is 002. That means you check the power supply, and I found that this is bad. 400 milliamps is not enough for the DSP to work. So this is the linear power supply, which will cost you more. The transformer, the capacitor of 2200 microfarad or 4700 microfarad based on your needs, and the rectifier diodes, that's pretty cheap. So only thing is you have to cost for the transformer and the cabinet. The cabinets you get it, but you have to search it. Yeah, that's the brief description on the power supplies.